Right.
No, I don't see her. I'll just take whatever you got to give me, Pat.
Okay, we're going to open the study session. Deputy City Clerk will have some commissioner deeds.
Yeah.
Okay, Councilor Caldwell?
Thank you, Pro Tem Hogan. Blessings to all. I have items 9 to 13, and we're all set, unless any of my fellow councilors have any questions. Thank you.
Councilor Michelle?
Yes, we had, first of all, I have item 14 to 18, and with the item that we are putting in application for the New York State Division of Homeland Security, we had asked to be given maybe a list of the things that could potentially have the money be used for once we get them.
Hello, I'm Mike Mons, the fire chief. So this grant is typically given to the fire department and the police department, and usually we split it $25,000 a piece. The fire department's going to buy 6 handheld portable radios, and it's going to ensure that we can talk to other agencies at large-scale incidents. And I believe, I'm not specifically sure what the SPD is going to use their money for, but we're using them for communication radios.
For radios, okay.
Yes, and more times than not, when we apply for the grant together, we're utilizing them for communication. So when we're on different scenes, we can talk to different agencies.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, thank you.
Rich Off, First Deputy Chief, please. Council, we don't have anything specifically identified. This is a grant that we get every year, and we usually use it for some kind of infrastructure, hardening, things that for security and our emergency management office.
Okay, when you get the grant, let's cross our fingers. When you get it, can we have that conversation?
I will get you, because when we submit the actual grant, we're going to have a budget, and I'll get that to you.
Okay, that would be wonderful.
Yep.
If no other questions, I'm all set.
Okay, Councilor Paniagua?
Good afternoon, everybody. I have item number 19. If there are no other questions, we should be all set.
Councilor Gathers?
Thank you, President Pro Tem. I have items 20 through 25. I think majority of our stuff is all set except for some questions in regards to 24 and 25.
Who's handling that for the administration?
Councilor Williams, you have.
Hello, Ann Fordock, First Deputy Commissioner, DPW. How are you doing?
Hey, Ann. How are you?
Good.
Following our study session, we got an email from Connor mentioning that prior year, 24, we spent $15.6 million. We did 11 in-house, and we contracted for another 7 miles. I've been here long enough now that I can actually see kind of the cadence and the rhythm of when we approve what, and looked through the March 11th agenda from the prior year. We only approved $8.4 million that day. Where did the remainder of that money come from?
We had rollover from previous years. Yep. That was a good question, though.
Yeah.
You did your homework.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where that came from. The mayor's office came out with a press release on that day, talking about 24 miles that were going to get paved during the year. We only got 18. Do you know what happened?
We always run out of time with weather, so we set a goal and we try to meet that as best we can. But as you know from that previous conversation, we had streets that rolled over from last year that we're going to hit this year as well. So there's always a bit of flux with the weather.
Thank you.
Too much rain will impede things, but also an early winter, all kinds of things.
Thank you.
You all set?
Yep.
Any other questions in regards to this? We're all set.
Thank you.
Okay, I have items, thank you, Councilor Gathers. I have item 26. What are we going to do with this, Councilor Jones-Rauser? Are you all set with this?
Yes. Yeah, we
Okay, makes the finish line.
I want to say thanks to Eric Ennis for his assistance.
And we have 27 and 26. Any questions on that from my colleagues? Hearing none, I'm surprised. 29, special permit, business retail. Ryan, who's doing that? We're all set? My colleagues all set on this? Okay. Councilor Nave, you have something on 30?
Yes, I'm going to hold this, and let me give my reasons. Be a moment, please. I'm requesting this resolution to return for clarification before it reaches the Common Council for a vote. At the hearing of February 20th, 2025, Commissioner Kulik, with all due respect, did not ask if anyone wanted to speak in favor or against after the applicant, Mr. Neese, concluded his remarks. In item 5, under specific conditions, it states that customers or business operators shall not park in the right-of-way along 2nd North Street. The business does face Wall Street, and it should be noted that previously vehicles have illegally parked in the front parking, blocking the entrance to the business next door, known as the Wolf's Den. Wall Street should be included also in item 5. In the resolution under be it further resolved, no signage was approved indicating it was a diner prior to this application being submitted. Was an application submitted for signage made and when? I ask for a clarification of my questions. Thank you.
Okay, we're holding that, and we're going to swing back to 27. I just realized that their companion pieces 27 and 28 are, 27 will hold, because we have to, the 28 is a local law, and we're going to be introducing and tabling that, so a little clarification there. Item 31, I'm all set with. Councilor Williams.
Thank you, Councilor Hogan. I'm going to withdraw 32, and we're ready with 33.
We're all 32, 33 ready. Councilor Jones-Rouser.
Thank you, President. I have items 34 through 70. We will be moving, so you have for your records. I have spoken with several individuals. I'll give you and Vicky that information to further reach out, and they'll be reaching out as well. But items 54, 57, 58, 61, 62, 63, 66, 68, and 70 are all ready to go.
Councilor Jones-Rouser, you're
Threw a curveball at us there, Councilor Jones-Rouser. I thought they were the ones that are going to be held.
All the others are held.
Okay, let's go through this again. Which ones are you holding there?
Oh, gosh, the ones I'm holding are too many.
All the other ones are fine.
36.
Hold on, let me break this up. So, items being held are 36, 37, 38 through 44. I'm sorry, 45 as well, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 55. Oh, I'm sorry, I had a question about that one. It says that it's only 1 year delinquent on the packet. If you could just follow up at some point to clarify that.
Sure.
Because in the notes, it speaks differently, but I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, I can clarify that.
Okay.
55's okay?
55 is being held for the response.
Okay.
56 is held. 59 is held.
I thought you withdrew 56. Is it withdrew? Come on.
So yeah, we're holding that one.
Oh, 56?
Yes, they applied for the tax trust.
60 is held. 64 is held. 65, did I say 65? Yeah, 65 is held, 67 and 69.
Okay. Go on, come on.
Pathway where we can avoid holding properties in the future? Should we communicate more in advance? What can be done?
Yeah, I thought that we were going to get the next list that, or I maybe missed it, the next list that was going to be coming down to our emails. I know you sent the larger list, but I thought there was going to be a breakout of that as to which ones were going to be coming out to the agenda. So I had never received it, so I thought we were still on the first two items only, and then we had this on the agenda. So
Okay,
for sure, yeah.
all right. So I can reshare it
Yeah.
several times.
I mean, I have the larger list, but I didn't get
This
these
vote.
ones. Yeah.
Yep, I can reshare it and just confirm that your email is correct.
Okay, okay.
Vicki Voss, Deputy Commissioner of Finance. Just to clarify, I don't have status for 39, 40, 41. We seem to skip from 38
Wait,
to...
I can
I'm
hear
sorry.
you. Wait,
I'm
I don't
sorry,
know what
what?
you said. Yeah, what you said, Vicki?
Oh,
We
I'm
can't
sorry.
hear you.
You can't?
No.
Okay. Sorry about that. How about that? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, so I understood that 38 was held, and then we went to 44. What is the status for 39 through 43?
No, all of those are held.
All of those are held?
All of them,
Okay.
yes. That entire page actually is held.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yep. And I have multiple people to get you in contact with. Okay. Oh, I
Okay, we
have,
got-
sorry. All right. I also have waiver items that I want to introduce. Is it introduced? Yes. Item number 71, 72. 71 will introduce and hold. Table, and number 72 will hold for now.
So we're holding 72 pending
Yes.
meeting, or
No, just as a companion piece.
is that a table?
71 is introduced and tabled, 72 is going to be held because it's a companion piece that goes with the local law.
Okay,
So
okay.
we'll pass them at the same time at the March 17th.
It's
And,
they're sort of different, but
Is Leah here? Is anyone here? Okay. What additional, what outreach are you going to be doing outside of just the newspaper article to inform residents that change is coming about?
yeah, what, like, to make slumlords aware.
Not slum
that-
landlords, just
Everybody,
anybody.
slam.
This is
Yeah,
for the
anybody.
entire
Well,
city.
no, I'm saying
Anyone
that,
who
but I
gets
mean, this is
violations
this is
need to know.
probably the most important legislation we have to deal with, the deteriorating housing situation in this city, this BAA is. So I just want to make sure, like you said, that we're going to let people know about it.
Everybody not bad, okay. We want to know what kind of outreach is going to go on.
Yeah, I mean, homeowners get violations as well, so just want to
Yes.
know what outreach is going to be done outside of the local newspaper.
Good morning, councilors, or good afternoon. For the record, Sue Katzoff, Corporation Counsel, and my office is open to suggestions you have. Most likely, we will do the newspaper article. We will perhaps discuss with the mayor's office doing a press release. We can post it on our website if you'd like, but it is very difficult to reach every single commercial property owner other than doing it in the way that we're suggesting.
It's not commercial.
I'm not talking about
No,
commercial.
commercial meaning, well, any landlord, any property
for
owner.
all properties.
Right, but there's no way to reach every property owner expeditiously in the city of Syracuse.
That was
So
my concern.
We're not
That's the
able to do a mailer.
we can do a mailer, but it is very expensive, and we don't always have the right address. We have to track these folks down more often than not when we issue code violations, because they fail to keep the city's records updated as they are mandated to do. So we are looking at ways to do notification as publicly as we can without doing an individual mailer that will cost, thousands of dollars, quite honestly, and most of them will be returned.
So what about, Sue, what about, excuse me, I'm sorry. So what about the ones that you can get in contact? What is going to be the process of making sure they understand this is the new rule that's going on in BA. And it's not, like, I'm gonna be very transparent. It's not that I'm against the BA. I think what you guys do is great. It's the process that goes before that we need to make sure that it goes smooth, because you guys only get what code enforcement sends you guys. So I just think the communication is gonna be important so that constituents know.
Well, you know, obviously, if a code violation, you get a letter saying that you got a code violation. I don't really see where a mailer, if they're not going to open a letter, why would they even look at a mailer? I
Because
mean,
this is not just for people who have already received violations. This is moving forward for people who may in the future receive violations, that they know if you don't pay the violation,
Yes.
it will go on your taxes. So everyone needs to know that.
obviously, implicit is if you don't take care of grass, you're going to end up with the BAA.
And one thing I think that would perhaps address your concern, Counselor, is when we send a letter from codes notifying them of the violation, in large font, all caps, bold, there is a paragraph that says, failure to cure or pay will result in a rollover to your taxes. That way they can't claim they were not notified or didn't know. And I think that we had planned to do that. I apologize.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about ahead of someone getting a violation.
No, that's
That was all
sufficient.
yeah, that answer right there,
Yeah.
so.
And Lee Terry, Deputy Director of the Municipal Violations Bureau. Just to follow up on that, as part of the code
Get
enforcement-
closer to the mic, please.
part of the code enforcement process already, there's a warning letter that's generated by code enforcement before they refer tickets to our bureau. And that outlines all the varied enforcement means the city can take if a violation isn't addressed. And I know because I wrote it that it's pretty expansive and enumerates a range of possibilities, outcomes, and consequences that could result from continued non-compliance. So I am sure it would be a minor adjustment to include that language about rolling over these fines onto the taxes if a ticket is referred to the Bureau. And
I would prefer the big, bold information, because people don't want to read expansive information. They just want something short and sweet.
Okay, so that can be added where you want. And additionally, in the Bureau's own materials, if you look at what is in the legislation now, I don't know, you've been provided copies, but section under I-96 sub E sub 1 says notice shall have been provided to the respondent by first-class mail not less than 30 days prior to the levying of unpaid penalties on the real property to which they relate. That failure to pay any penalties included with a final decision, determination, or order may result in their being placed on the city's annual tax levy and collected as taxes. So they are going, anybody who's in this process is going to receive multiple notices throughout that if they don't address these if they don't address the code violation first off and then address the city's Bureau of Administrative Adjudication notice violation ticket, that they will have penalties on their taxes. So it won't be a surprise to them if they review any of their mailings.
I have a question. I'm not sure if it's for you, Jake, Kamon, Yusu. I'm not sure. Maybe all three of you guys can answer this. Is all the same? Is it a one system for everything so far as when the back taxes, code violation? Is it one system? Can everyone see that? That's really not too used to them. Because I'm seeing multiple people in, like, on the list, but if they owe back taxes, they're getting involved in code enforcement. They're going to be, is there one system so you guys can all see?
So there's a couple different things. How this all starts off from code enforcement end, if you receive a code enforcement violation, due process, we have to issue written notice. So we have a code enforcement software program that we issue notices of violation. That's what Lee was referring to, the letter with the language. It's like, if you don't take care of this, you can face court, you can face BA fines, et cetera, et cetera. So we use IPS for that. I think all of you are familiar with IPS. So that's what we use that's the code enforcement system of record for keeping track and issuing notices of violation. Now from there, if we issue a BAA ticket and it goes through that process, what was the other question related to taxes?
Is there one system? Because it's all, so for instance, people here that are getting their houses taken, they have violations, right? So it's still code violation.
Yeah,
So
Vicky can speak to that. We do have, I think, a centralized location for all unpaid fees that, and Vicky can talk to it better than I can.
So I'm just asking, is there 3 different systems? Is
Yeah,
it one
it's three,
system?
it's 3 different, 4 different, 5 different, it's a lot of different systems. So
That's
you got,
ridiculous.
but they all feed into the tax system. So unfortunately, the way we have our software is we have one system, AS400, which does the water billing. Water has an ordinance that if your water bill is behind after a certain period, and I don't know the exact rules because water takes care of that, but if they are delinquent on their water bill, all or a portion of that water bill can be transferred over to their tax bill, and that comes to us in a report from the AS400. They give us a report of everybody that's delinquent. We add that to the tax roll for the city school taxes, which we do in April. We get all the reporting so that we have everything ready for May so that we can then send out the bills in
So
June.
the real reason I'm asking this is, so if someone called you and said, hey, I'm trying to fix and get on a tax, trust, and they give you updated information of who they are, their residence and phone number.
We check
you see that?
everything.
No, can you see that, Jay? Well, it's still related. It's one. No, let me
if I
see.
could finish to address your point, you're asking if someone calls for a tax trust, right? So when somebody you.
No, I want to know if they can
apologize.
see. If they called you, if I called you right now and I was saying, hey, I'm back on my taxes. Oh, you didn't reach me. This is my new number. This is my new address.
Yep.
This is the information. Can you guys all see the updated? Because if I thought I caught the one person, you would think that everyone should be able to see updated information. So Jake might be able to find somebody, but you didn't because Jake has dealt with them. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. So in order to change the address on the tax bills, they have to contact the assessment department, and that changes it only in e-tax. It doesn't change it in IPS.
So the answer is no.
So we do enter information into IPS. So if Kaylin gets a phone call from someone who's facing foreclosure, whatever phone number they call her from is entered into IPS, and Jake can see it, and Vicky can also see it.
Wow, that's all. Thank you, Kamal.
So it doesn't translate over to e-tax. So e-tax is where they manage all the financing, they put in information, but Vicky does have access to IPS.
I have a question. On all the letters that you send out, is a return postage guaranteed, which means that a person was, they don't live there, can they just put it in the mailbox? We'll go back to your office and sell their note.
Yes, we get notification when properties are, when the mail's undeliverable. We get them back, and then we go in and update that there is a problem, that there's a bad address. A lot of the properties that we have are vacant lots, which, the mail goes to the vacant lot. There's no post, they don't deliver mail to vacant lots, and we get them back. So that's a lot of the problem. But we also do have problems with people who, sometimes it's just a matter of, when they closed on the mortgage, that they put down their previous address, but they're not getting their tax bills to the new address. So it's a problem with how their address is recorded at closing. So we found problems with that. So some people don't even know that they have tax bills because they just bought a house. They're not familiar with the process. They don't know how it works. We send them a bill. It goes to their old address. They might get it forwarded. They might not if they didn't get,
And sometimes the property owner ends up selling it to an LLC, and the administration doesn't know about it. It's already happened.
Right, and then, well, we do ultimately find out,
Right.
and then we change the address on the system.
They gotta go after the owner. Yes.
So Sue, I have a question in regards to to return mail. You said earlier that if you send out all these massive notification to people, a lot of them would be returned. So where can this body help the administration to make sure? Because first of all, if we are sending out all these mails and they are getting returned, we're wasting taxpayers' dollars, right? And it's not doing what it was meant to do. And how can we help to make sure that at least we are creating impact? Because it seems like it's a lot.
Crazy?
Mhm.
So we are faced in the law department with following statutory rules about how we give notice for certain things, including BAA procedures and code violation hearings, we are mandated to serve in a certain way. We can't control if those come back. We have to follow the law. Where we can try to have a better impact is making it more publicly known in whatever forums you're in that people have an obligation to maintain updated records with the city. So if you have a different address, don't give us a PO box, give us an actual address. There are lots of things that we can message to constituents in terms of what their obligation is relative to the city. I think where I was and unintentionally challenging Councilor Jones-Rouser is to send a mailing of an FYI, i.e. we're going to be amending our rules. That is not helpful, in my opinion, because of the challenge we face. However, adding that notice in big, bold font to the initial letter that we are mandated to send out is where we will find the greatest impact to notify property owners that this change has become effective. So I don't know if that answers your questions. It is a challenge. It is a challenge every day in terms of notice.
Well, is there a way, because, and again, I don't know, right? Is there a way we can, or is there a mandated rules that somehow a resident must update their address or their contact information? And is there a way we can also add it into this to make sure that it become part of that? Because if we are sending all of these out to residents and they are not getting it, first of all, they are losing out. We are losing out as a city. There got to be a medium somehow to.
So the mandate is already there. You are required by local law to notify the city when you have a new address. So the mandate is there. Perhaps it's a greater educational opportunity with your constituents to notify them. We can provide you the section of the local law that requires them to keep their address updated.
That would be the enforcement element of it for people for word of mouth. Is there an enforcement side of it to that?
What do we do if someone doesn't update their?
Is it just a word of mouth, get yours updated, or is there a way to enforce that at least? Because if we are sending out these many mails, so that's resource that is getting waste that is not creating any impact, right? Because if all of these are coming back, you're sending all of them out and they are coming back because of wrong addresses and what have you.
Enforcement would require my office to bring petitions against every one of those landowners for a violation of the local law, which that is not feasible either. So I'm happy to participate with any counselors who want to discuss options on how we can address this issue. There's no easy answer. That's the problem. Because if there was, I think we would have done it.
I guess I just note as part of the BAA process, when we are about to serve a notice of violation ticket, we do research a proper address to serve, and we serve via certified mail, which has to be signed for. So a human being has to sign for it. It can't just come back and be considered proper legal service. So nobody should have fines rolled onto their taxes where somebody didn't sign for at least the initial papers. And I assume that we will include notice about the rollover potential on virtually every important document we send, as we tend to do for other aspects of our enforcement process.
Okay, we have to go into executive session if there's no more questions. Are you okay, counselors?
Yeah, I'm okay. There's layers of questions I have, but we can deal with that another time.
Yeah.
And it's not.
We can also call a committee meeting if we need to. I'm not sure if it's more on BAA or just overall.
Yeah, overall. It's overall.
Yeah. So, okay, hearing that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn in executive session.
So moved.
Second? Yeah, I guess, I don't know, I guess we are.
Do we have a key for there?
I think the president's here somewhere, hopefully.